Hi, this is Alex, and we're at Web Congress in Miami. And today we're talking big data. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're going to be talking about at your talk.
Okay, so my name's Cindy Krum, and I'm going to be talking about the future of mobile, which I think is super exciting. I do mobile marketing consulting, and I've been in this space for quite a while. So looking at the future of mobile is cool with all the explosion of tablets and other web-enabled devices, right? We're getting loads and loads more information from the devices, and now Google's launched cross-device conversion tracking for AdWords, as well as they're going to launch next year offline conversion tracking and phone call conversion tracking, right? So they're getting kind of into the panopticon realm, like they can see everything and they can join it across devices. And the way they're doing it is with your login. So any computer that you've logged into is a candidate for being tied back to a central account that they're kind of marrying everything back to. And then when they do the offline conversion tracking, that'll be potentially based on your location, like with your phone in your pocket that you've logged into your Gmail or whatever. You go into the store after you've done a search and click through on an ad, and they're like, haha, she's buying this thing, but not through the ad, right? So super clever, but something that actually any website could do, right? If you have a website, you could be tracking it back to, if I'm logged in, all my different devices, and you could be doing that as well. But that's just the beginning.
Well, big data, I guess it's become pretty a buzzword these days. That's for sure. So when people talk about big data, you know, of course, there's a lot of data going in your Google Analytics or whatever tracking software you're using. So when we talk about big data, are we talking about like Amazon type of big data, or can a small business deal with big data as well?
So Wikipedia defines big data roughly as something that your basic computer cannot do, something that you need to have a bigger computer to do the data processing. So what I was talking about with the cross-device attribution, that's totally possible on a regular computer. That's just kind of the beginning. When you think about where mobile is going with all these connected devices, the connected devices all act like senders and receivers of data, right? And constantly sending and receiving your location, what you're doing, that you're checking your email, that you're opening an app, things like that. But beyond that, if you're an app manufacturer or website and you're taking data through those venues, people are constantly putting data into those specific kinds, like a food tracker, right? You're getting, if you're a food tracking app company, you're getting a constant stream of everyone's meals and snacks and whatever, and that's a lot of data. Or if you're Fitbit, right? And people are updating, you know, their pedometers, right? You're getting a constant stream of data, and that is approaching big data, right? But they're not doing a lot with that for marketing, and they could be. Like, think about if Fitbit created some marketing campaign that pit one state against another in terms of fitness and said that Colorado is more fit than Florida or something like that, and then did a real-time live tracking of which state was winning, or heat maps of which areas within a state or a city or even different schools are more active. Or what if there was some kind of open framework for the data, and it wasn't just Fitbit, it was all the Pebbles and all the regular pedometers and stuff like that. They were aggregating the data, and with location and with time, marry it up with stuff like weather, and you could get crazy, interesting information.
So I guess the question is, when you have all of this data, how do you manage it to figure out what's actually important? So you're collecting, you know, gender, demographic, you know, revenue, all this stuff. How do you figure out what to actually do with it?
So what I'm saying in my speech right now, because I don't want to overwhelm people, is collect it even if you don't know what you're going to do with it yet, because you'll figure something out. And the cost of data, of saving data and collecting data, has gone down so much that there's no disincentive to keeping that data around until you know what you're going to do with it. And data doesn't even really get stale that much. Like having the even old data is useful. I give one example that I got from a book that's called Big Data, and it's going to be in my presentation, but it's about old data that they had in Denmark, right? When when people started worrying that cell phones were causing brain tumors, Denmark is a great country in terms of healthcare and keeping the records, as well as they don't have that many cell phone carriers, and the carriers all had good records that they could match up to individual, like, unique person identifiers, which were married with the unique person identifiers in the health system, right? They had two big sets of data, and they merged them. And they actually normalized it by income and age and location. And they had so much data, right? Because they had data on everyone in the country.
Sure.
That they basically conclusively said, like, we saw when you bought your cell phone, because this was in the early days of cell phones, so they could compare how long someone had a cell phone, how many minutes they had used on the cell phone, and show definitively that there wasn't a correlation between using lots of minutes on your cell phone and having brain tumors. That's cool, right?
Yeah.
And those are two data sets that you wouldn't think to put together until there was a need.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how, I mean, it's one thing to collect all the data. It's another thing to take that and actually use it towards whatever goals that you have in business. I'm definitely looking forward to your talk. Any closing points, or let's tell people how they can get in touch with you?
Okay, so closing, you can't give me the option, I have to do both. Closing thoughts are, if you have an app or if you have a mobile website, you need to be tracking everything possible. And thinking about the future in terms of data, and also in terms of this ballooning number of connected devices, as well as sensors like NFC and RFID sensors are going to be collecting data, and there's going to be an enormous amount that you're going to have at your disposal to do cool marketing stuff with. So don't ignore that. Plan for it. Plan on lots of different devices accessing your content in lots of different ways. So that's the closing thought. Don't forget about that. And then people can contact me. The best way is on Twitter. My Twitter handle is either MobileMoxie, or you can do me directly with Suzix, which is SUZZICKS.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for your time. I look forward to your talk. Thank you for watching the Marketing Optimization Podcast with Alex Designs. Please remember to subscribe to all of the videos in my YouTube channel. Thank you.